Hi, my name is Tim. I'm a Senior Application Specialist at ATRsoft. In today's webinar, we will have a look at importing your files to CustomTools database, as well as how to use the search function. With me today, I have my wingman, the always busy sales manager, Mr. Francois Simon, who will answer your questions. Please use the chat box on the GoToWebinar panel. I will make room after the session for more questions to let you follow this presentation better. We expect the webinar to take somewhere in the range of 15 minutes. The webinar is being recorded and as always published on our website for everyone to watch later. Okay, let's get started. Importing files is a really essential part of your future design. It will make it much more easy to find files and make design copies and so on, because when files are imported, CustomTools will know the file references. You will be able to search for metadata of your files for a much more accurate search result. And with the import tool, you can actually batch upgrade and update your files from an old Solidworks version to the version you are currently working on. The import process can be performed in quite a few ways. Each time a file is saved in Solidworks with CustomTools active, we are going to index the file in our database. If you have files in your company from prior to using CustomTools, these can be easily imported to the database. I'm going to cover the different approaches live for you and show how it's all working. I'm going to try to make this as easy to understand as possible. But if you do have any questions, just type them into the chat box and we will do our best to explain and answer these after the webinar. Okay, let's dive into SolidWorks. The first thing I'm going to do is show you the search. Now, at this point, I'm just going to run a search in the database. And for simplicity, I'm going to delete all of these references in our database. So you can see the list is being built slowly. So this is actually a best practice as well. If you have some files you need to delete from your hard drive, you should go about and do it like this. And even if you have some references in your database which do not exist at all, then you should find those and delete them. And I will show you some tricks for searching out these files as well. But in this case, I'm going to highlight everything, go to the file operation, and if the admin in your CustomTools environment allow you to do so, you are then able to delete files. But this is a security setting, of course, so not everyone can do this. It's a setting you need to set in CustomTools administration. Delete files is actually not going to delete any files. It's just deleting the reference in our database. We have an option to delete the associated file from the hard drive. But mind you, this is going to delete data from your hard drive. So in this case, I don't want to delete data, I just want to delete the entries in the database. Select yes to that and just let it clean out the database. Like that. And now if I run a search, there is nothing in the database. But there will be in a few minutes. The first thing that I'm going to do is open up our very well-known conveyor. Just let that load. And at this point, CustomTools have no clue about this conveyor. If I run a search again, I mean, that is completely empty, of course. But you can do certain things with CustomTools still. For instance, if you load up an assembly like this, you will be able to print and convert it without even importing it into the database. You will also be able to run an export because we read all of these properties directly from the files as they are open. But you're not able to ask where components are being used. So in this case, I select this bracket and ask where is that being used. And we do not know because no information was found in the database. To correct that, you can use the custom import and import the document. Okay. Well, as I said, we are always indexing files when you save them. So the first thing that I'm going to do is just save the assembly. When the assembly is now saved, we add an entry to CustomTools database. This means that at this point, when I search, I can see the assembly file. I cannot see any documents referencing this assembly because I only saved the assembly file. Okay. To correct that, I could select to save all. Save all is going to save all the documents belonging to this assembly, and when that is completed, we can run a search again. And now all of the part files as well are imported into this database. I know that this part file has a drawing attached, but if I ask again where this is being used, we don't know. The database does not know that there is a drawing for this one. I can easily open the drawing because it's in the same folder and has the same name as the part file. So we can easily figure out how to open the part or the drawing file, but we do not have a reference for it in our database. Now, I could go and save each individual drawing, and that would then be added to the database, but there is a more easy way. And instead of save and save all, you can just run and import Solidworks files. In this case, I already have the document open, so I'm just going to add the active document. And not really much more to do. The default setting is to import drawing of 3D models, and I really do not expect that you would ever want to untick that. I mean, why would you? So I'm going to import and convert this, and you can see that everything is then being imported. And when done, we can just close that window. And now if I do the same, select the component and ask where is it being used, now I can see the drawing as well. And from here, I can actually do file operation. I can delete that file. I can open the file in SolidWorks. Delete file is going to delete it from the database, as we saw in the search result. I can open the file in SolidWorks, or I can open it in Explorer. If I open in Explorer, it's going to open the correct folder location and highlight the file for me. But I would like to import some more data. So I'm going to import, and this time use the Add Files option. Here I have in the Import and Search webinar folder a folder called Speaker, and this is a project that I did, so I want to import that to my database. When importing files, you can select the top level assembly, because that would know all the references, or you can select all of the documents you have in this folder. It is totally up to you. It would result in the same output, you could say. So I'm just going to select the assembly and then run the import and convert again. This is then going to read all the references, of course, finding the part files as well as the drawing files. Now I can go and search again, and this time just run a full search. The file name we have for our files is actually this part, 0000054. But in CustomTools, the entire file path is actually our file name. So I can search for any bit of that folder string and find the result that I want. So in this case, if I want to find conveyor part files, I can just search for conveyor and search. This is then going to return only conveyor components in that folder location. I can filter on it and say, well, I don't want to see anything except assembly files. And then I can see the assembly files being used by the conveyor or in that folder. But I want to find the speaker. So I'm just going to search for speaker because that's part of the file name. Now from this window, we have a hidden feature because not a lot of people know this, but you can actually just drag and drop this one from the search directly into your assembly. And if you had any configurations on your part or model file, you would actually be prompted which configuration to insert to your assembly. But you can add as many as you like. So really simple way of working. So you never have to browse for files. You can just search them and add them directly to your assembly. I'm going to close everything. Then I'm going to perform a full search. So reset the search and search for anything and everything. And then I'm going to clean out this database one more time. So now I have nothing in my database again. I want to import the entire import and search folder. So now I use the add active document. I showed the add files, and now I'm going to use the add folder option. The add folder is going to open a small browser window, and from here I can find the folder that I would like to import. So this is in this case the import and search, because I have my conveyor, my double, and a speaker. I want to import all of these folders. To do that, you need to include subfolders. This is going to read in all of these files to the import window, and then we are ready to import everything. Before I'm doing that, I want to talk a little bit about the options. By default, we import drawings of 3D models, and I do not see any reason why you would not do that. We have some drawing options as well for this to work better, if you could say. There is an option to add drawing search folders, but basically, if you just add the folder where the drawings are located, then we will know where the part or assembly files are located based on the reference from the drawing. But you are able to define search folders for drawings. We are able to compare the whole file name, compare first or last set of characters in the file name, or even look for a specific property in our files to import. We also have option to import revision data. I'm not going to cover that in full, but just show the revision options. We had a legacy CustomTools client called 3-point-something, and these properties we can read in during this import. We can also read directly from the drawing revision table. We can read custom property manager revision information as well as Toolworks revision information. So if you, for instance, have custom property manager or Toolworks, we can easily migrate that solution into CustomTools. Not going to spend more time on this. I mean, that could be a small webinar in itself. Then we have options to handle legacy CT3 property metadata. And as I said in the intro, there is an option to open and save files in Solidworks. What this does is it's going to open up the file during the import and save it to the current Solidworks version. So if you have, for instance, Solidworks 2015 files you are importing, you can do a file upgrade in this process as well and save the files in Solidworks. That's just about it. So I'm going to import all of these files now to the database. And everything is coming out with green check marks, which is a good thing. If there are any references which are not working, you will see that clearly by a red cross in this graphics window. And if there are any failed import, then you are able to save that. And I'm going to just wait for this one to complete. So if there are anything that failed, this button will then become selectable and you can save a text file with what went wrong for this import project. And then you can look at your text file and correct whatever issues there may be. And in most cases, that is because of a broken reference. For instance, your drawing is referencing a part on a server drive which does not exist anymore. The file is moved to a different location. So this is why you will see errors in most cases. When these are corrected in a text file, you can load that text file and then re-import the failed documents. Now everything is now back in my database again. From here I can select maybe to filter on part files. Maybe I want to search only for assembly files. Or maybe I just want to see drawing files. So you can use this document type filter to really open and search for whatever you want to have. I want to search for assembly files. And you don't have to do a lot of open and close work in Solidworks. For instance, if you from the search would like to print out an assembly, you can easily do so. So you have the assembly selected and you go to print and convert. Here you can select the bill of material of selected files. This is going to open up the batch window where you can print and convert, and everything is being read into this. And when you hit OK to start the project, the batch conversion, you can just leave the computer alone, and Solidworks and CustomTools is going to open up the documents for you and process that. You can also run an export, for instance, to Excel. And this is not opening any documents at all. It's just reading direct from the files and from the database. So here we have the Excel report created. And I can ask where components are being used. So this subwoofer is being used in different components. I can ask where is it being used, and I can see the reference list in here. And you can of course do the file operation for this as well. So you can open up a file directly in Explorer, and that is being highlighted for you. Just a recap, as we saw, there are a great number of ways you can import your design data. Most often used is the add folder and the add active document, but we also import files on the fly each time you save something in CustomTools, or in Solidworks, I should say. In import, you can specify to open and save files during the import, and this will perform a file upgrade to the current Solidworks version. There are also settings to search for drawings in other file location using different drawing search criteria like the compare first or compare last set of characters. The search will greatly enhance your working experience and save you time. You do not have to open files to perform printing or conversion of files, and you do not have to open files to perform export operations. From the search, you can directly drag and drop results into your assemblies. You can perform database cleaning by deleting file references from the database, and you can even delete the file from hard drive. And again, this is a CustomTools security setting that you need to set, and only basically CAD administrators should have that option. And then you can of course open models directly from the search window. This is all I had to show for you today. We are open for questions when the recording is stopped. But first I want to thank you for attending this webinar, and I hope to see all of you for the next one. We have not actually planned the next one yet, but you will be informed and you will get information for sure. You should check our webpage for updates and past webinars. So thank you all. Have a nice day.
We are in the life-saving business. We kill your routines before they kill you.